let's talk a little bit about what we're going to see on the field this year. And I don't think there's any better place to start than is the left tackle position. I think you're an expert on that. So right now, Dawand Jones currently slotted to slide into that full-time left tackle role. What do you see from Dawand Jones that makes you think he's ready to make that full-time switch? And just the 3 games he started last year, did you see anything like to give you confidence that, okay, I feel good about the left tackle position this year?
Well, it's never been performance or athleticism that's held Dwan back, right? It's been the injuries that he's sustained. And so I think that's really the big question mark for him moving forward. But I've got an opportunity the last couple seasons to develop a little bit of a relationship with him, and he's super motivated. He wants to come in great shape, because I think being in great shape is really important to staying healthy, right? Being on top of your body and knowing your body inside and out and understanding like, hey, this little soreness that I got, this little tight hamstring here, I need to take care of that right now before it trickles into something else. And I think he's understanding that, and he is so motivated to take over that left tackle position. He was a basketball player growing up. That was kind of his first love. And so he's got all the talent and athleticism that you could possibly want. Obviously, he's a mountain of a man. You know, he's like 7'5", 480 pounds, and he dances around like a ballerina. So he's exactly the type of player that you want at left tackle. He's super smart. He's super driven and motivated. And so I'm hoping that he's built that routine to make sure that his body can be that finely tuned Lamborghini that there's no way he would ever fit into, that he can be then for the Browns this season to hold that left tackle spot for 17 games plus some playoff games.
Yeah, I figure, and I'm sure this applies to all positions, but, you know, offensive line specifically, transitioning from college to the NFL, there's so many things that are way different in the NFL than college. And I'm sure there's things like you mentioned in college you can kind of get away with, little tweaks and things there that you just can't in the NFL because of the rigors of the game. Is that kind of accurate?
Yeah, I mean, when I played in college my senior year, I think I played 2 players in that season that actually played in the NFL. One was from Bowling Green, and actually one was from Michigan. And those were the only 2 games where I really feel like I had to be just on my spot. I had to be just perfect on my best game to be able to handle those guys. And in the NFL, that's just not the case. It's every single week. It's every single rep. You know, in college, you got one guy first, second, and third down typically. I mean, they might bring in a specialized pass rusher, or you might get a spinner who's like that in-between linebacker, outside linebacker, defensive end type who's going to rush on you. But in the NFL, like, you got a first and second down D end, and then a lot of times on third down, they're trotting the guy off the sideline who's been drinking water, who's been resting up all day, he's been watching everything you did, and he's going to give you one all-out pass rush move. And so you got to really be a jack of all trades to play tackle in the NFL, because they're going to do whatever you don't do very well, and they're going to put that guy on top of you. Whether you can't handle the speed rush, they're going to put a skinny guy on you. If you're not sound and you're not able to anchor against the bull rush, they're going to put a big dude against you. So you've got to really be able to handle all shapes and sizes that they're going to line up against you.
Did you have something?
Yeah, I kind of want to talk for a minute. He's transitioning from right tackle to left tackle, and we heard a lot about that when we drafted Jed, switching from right to left. Is that overblown by fans, or is that like a real thing? Like, how much of a stark difference is there between playing on the right or the left side?
I think sometimes it depends on your experience at that position. Like, how much time have you played left and right? Like, for me, I played nothing but left tackle my entire life. So the switch to right would have been really tough. But I still think, even if you're a guy that hasn't had experience on the other side, if you give me 3 months of practice, of training, I think that's about the right amount of time to be able to make that switch. For guard, it's a lot easier because you don't have quite as big of a stagger in your stance. But as a tackle, you're going to have a huge stagger. So one foot's going to be way behind the other. Your feet really do different jobs. And so do your hands, because you're pretty much always going to be blocking a guy who's outside of you. As a guard, you could be blocking a guy inside. You could be blocking a guy outside. And so they're a little bit more ambidextrous. But left tackle is much more specific. Right tackle is much more specific to that side. But still, 3 months, I think Dwan's going to have no problem being able to make that transition, because he's got a lot of time to be able to work on it. And I mean, they're practicing right now, and he's still got like 6 weeks of training camp. So it's no doubt in my mind he's going to be ready to take over that spot.
Cool. Yeah, we thought he looked okay whenever he started those 3 games last year. So it was definitely encouraging to hear the Browns say, okay, we've kind of got him pegged for that role this season. But Talking about just the offensive line overall, I mean, do you think as a group they're going to have a bounce back year? I mean, fans have kind of been dogging on the offensive line blocking this entire offseason. We hear it left and right, but how much of the line's performance last year was scheme related versus like their overall ability?
Well, I think some of it was scheme related, but a lot of times offensive line's performance is dependent upon the quarterback play, right? So if you got a quarterback that's where he's supposed to be, a la Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, and they get rid of the ball on time, like your job becomes very easy and you can kind of predict where you need to make sure your rusher goes and where he doesn't go to be able to win that rep. If you got a guy who's holding on to the ball, who's running around, doesn't exactly know what his reads are, doesn't know what his spot is supposed to be in the pocket, it becomes very difficult because now you're playing into the defensive line's hands, right? Like their specialty is being athletic and being fast and having these ninja quick karate moves with their hands that they work on all off season. And so if you're playing into their hands and they're allowed to go wherever they want, and then you just have to stop them from going there, it becomes nearly impossible. And I think that was what was happening a lot last season. You know, they were playing in a system that was catered a little bit more towards Deshaun Watson and the Browns offensive line. They didn't really know where Deshaun was supposed to be. It didn't seem like Deshaun knew exactly what the reads were going to be. He didn't exactly get the ball out on time. He wasn't where he's supposed to be in the pocket. And that makes it really hard on the offensive line. And pretty quickly you go from being a pretty good player that feels like you're, all pro level to you look like crap. And you're just not getting the job done, right? Because for the most part, even a trained eye doesn't exactly know where that quarterback is supposed to be on any given play. And they don't know exactly what the role of the offensive line is on any given play and how they fit within each other. And so an offensive line really is five fingers that, are working together as a fist. And everybody's kind of taking care of the blind spot of their person next to them. And then the quarterback has to fit into that. And so when that fit is not right, just everybody looks poor.
Yeah, that kind of echoes a lot of what we've heard from Kevin Stefanski this offseason through the pre-draft process was, we want a quarterback who's accurate, can play on time, play in rhythm, all that kind of stuff on schedule, get the ball where it's supposed to be. So that really fits to what you're talking about and how it translates to the play of the offensive line.